Recently, the government has announced that they are lowering the minimum voting age to 16, down from 18. Originally, I was opposed to this move, but now that it has happened, I think it doesn't go far enough. Because they are also banning tobacco purchases for anyone born after 2009, at the next election we will be in the crazy position where 16-year-old children can be trusted to vote, but 20-year-old adults cannot be trusted to buy cigarettes. That's ridiculous. If 16-year-olds can be trusted to make an informed decision about politics and the direction of the country, it follows that 16-year-olds can be trusted to make informed decisions about their own health and what they put into their body. Let 16-year-olds drink in pubs and buy an 18-pack of Carling. A few years ago, the government raised the minimum age for marriage from 16 up to 18. This was because too many children were being manipulated into marriage by their parents, because it turns out children are easily manipulated and bullied into doing things. But apparently, children would not be manipulated into voting the same way as their parents. And if it did, it might even be a good thing. If there's an election in the next 2 years, it means children as young as 14 will be targeted with political propaganda. And that's good, because it makes them well-informed and eager citizens ready to have their say in our democracy. If children being blasted with political propaganda doesn't seem like an issue, why do we spend so much time protecting them from vaping ads and gambling mechanics in video games? If we think 16-year-olds can spend their vote how they like, they can also spend their money how they like. Let children buy vapes and play in casinos. One argument for votes at 16 is that 16-year-olds are competent enough to hold part-time jobs, and if you can hold a job, you have a stake in adult society and thus should be allowed to vote. I agree. But there's one job that children cannot hold, and that's Member of Parliament. If 16-year-olds are competent enough to vote for their MP, if they are competent enough to have sex with their MP, then it is time to let children become MPs. Plenty of adult members of Parliament treat it as a part-time job. Why not let a child vote for airstrikes on Iran before chemistry with Mr. Morris? No taxation without representation, as it goes. 16-year-old workers should either be exempt from tax or be represented in Parliament. Fantastic argument. Also, any aristocratic baby who inherits his father's fortune should have a vote too. Of course, adulthood is not just voting and smoking. There are responsibilities, like for example, sitting on a jury. Now I say, if a 16-year-old is intelligent enough to hold a job, pay tax, be clued up and enthusiastic about politics enough to vote for a candidate, they should have no problem understanding a criminal trial and impartially deciding the guilt of the defendant.
Yeah, I've got a GCSE maths revision session at 2, and then at 3 I need to be at the courthouse to hear the lurid details of an actual murder.
This is my belief now. Either 16-year-olds are competent enough for all aspects of adulthood, or we admit that children should not be allowed to vote.